Hello everyone, it's Rory Paddock here for Picks from the Paddock.co.uk, broadcasting to you live at bang on 1 o'clock. I had a relatively decent day yesterday with 10 to 1 and 50 to 1 places, amongst others. There are 5 horses I like today, all at pretty decent value, across the 3 flat meetings at Newmarket, Newcastle and Dundalk. So, without further ado, it's time for today's tips. Hello everyone, it is me, Rory Paddock for Picks from the Paddock.co.uk, bringing you 5 selections this Friday across 3 different meetings. So, considering it's 1 o'clock, and the first selection that I like the look of today runs in the 255, I best crack on with it. So, starting in time order, I will go to the 255 race from Flat HQ at Newmarket, and in my eyes, Lyrical looks the one to be on, the one to beat, at 7 to 1. And I couldn't put people off backing the horse, especially at a relatively decent each way price at the moment. However, I'm hoping I've found a slight angle in the form of the Ruth Carr trained Mutamaded. The 7-year-old has been pretty woeful in 2020, but as a result, now sits at £6 below his last winning mark. I'm not convinced the ground will suit, although he has been victorious on soft ground before. But the most eye-catching thing about this runner is that he hails from the northern-based yard of Ruth Carr, and she sends just the one horse all this way down to Flat HQ. There's been a handful of non-runners now in the race, which obviously aids our chances. And with there still being 3 places on offer, I'm happy to take a punt on a horse who's currently priced at around 25 to 1 and has a decent weight on their back. That's Mutamaded in the 255 at Newmarket. Sorry, I bit my tongue. That was lovely. So yeah, Mutamaded in the 255 at Newmarket to start our day. We then have to wait until tonight's action on the all-weather at both Newcastle and Dundalk. 2 from Newcastle, 2 from Dundalk. The first 2 come from the northeast track, all that way up in Newcastle. The first being the 4:45. Now, it's a horse I've followed this season, and my pocket hasn't thanked me for it in one bit. But it's Strong Steps. Now, although I may be a fool for doing the same over and over again, the fact that he's now up to a mile, has William Buick booked to ride him, has been backed down from 7 to 1, and sits on a mouth-watering mark, is enough to ensure that I don't abandon him too readily. I'll stick with him again. Strong Steps looks a decent shout for a place in the 4:45. The rest of the field looks relatively poor, but you've got Bawadur, Captain Corelli and Kazaf probably look the best of the rest. But Strong Steps, with William Buick in the saddle, is my first selection at Newcastle. My second selection at Newcastle comes an hour later, and I know this race looks ridiculous to call, with a case that could be made for the majority of the 14 runners in all honesty. But perhaps in my infinite stupidity, Royal Brave is the horse that catches the eye. I understand the former course and distance winner won just 2 starts back at Catterick, but he only went up £2 for that success and still remains well below his last all-weather winning mark. The biggest factor for me is that jockey Danny Tudhope returns for the ride, having not been aboard the horse on its last 14 starts. The jockey, Tudhope, has a great record with the horse, claiming 8 top 3 finishes from 10 rides. One of those rides in which he didn't finish in the top 3, he actually finished 4th of 16. The jockey has an amazing record on board this horse. Although it's a ridiculously open contest, I'll take a chance on the oldest horse in the race to roll back the years. That's Royal Brave as a decent shout with a decent price in the 5.45. We then head on over the sea to Dundalk, where in the 6.30, again we've got a really ultra competitive handicap. This time this is over a mile. You've got the likes of Kafark and War Hero that are vying for favouritism at the moment and look to have very, very solid chances. Both of them have serious claims, but I'd rather look for a bit of value elsewhere, and I hope I've found it in the form of Cattyman. A veteran in the lineup, but shouldn't be discounted so readily despite a poor performance here last time. That run came over 7 furlongs. He's now back up to a mile, which is a massive, massive plus. The horse's course and distance form reads as follows: 2nd, 8th, 2nd, 1st, 2nd and 3rd. So that's, of the 6 times he's started over course and distance, he's only ever finished out of the money once. All of those starts came with at least £5 more weight on the back compared to what they'll be carrying this evening. Yes, it's a tough race to call. Yes, he's an older horse, but I'm happy to plump for the Halford trained runner, Cattyman, to go well at a very generous price. And my final selection comes an hour later in the 7.30, last but by no means least, and it sees me side with a horse who's actually yet to win on an artificial surface, but did show enough in one run here over course and distance at Dundalk to persuade me or give me the impression that she is capable here on an artificial surface. Trainer Tracy Collins may not have sent out a winner recently, but she did claim a very close second here at Dundalk with one of her runners 2 nights ago. She sends out Independent Missy, who's a 4-year-old who went well to finish 4th over course and distance earlier in the year. She returns back to the track with less weight on her back this time around. Should see her go close. Slight negative, however, is the wide draw in stall 13. But if she can overcome that obstacle, she should be in the mix. That's Independent Missy to round off our 5 selections for Friday. As always, any likes, shares, comment and support is always welcome. But good luck if you follow.